Hi, welcome to T3 Teach Tech Theater. And today we're going to talk about something that I think is pretty timely for a lot of us.
Well, this is my topic because I was crazily trying to get errands done to try to come back and do lesson planning this weekend. And I heard something on NPR, and it was the daughter of Bruce Lee, and she had written a book, and they were interviewing her. And the title of the book was "Be Water, My Friend," and it's from one of his famous quotes, talking about how the power of water, and that we have to kind of move and flow. And if you think about the power of water, you know, if you've ever had like a plumbing leak in your house, and you're like, where the hell is the water coming from? And it doesn't take a direct path all the time, and it will find the way. I mean, water has created canyons. Water is super powerful, slow and powerful. And as I was listening to it and thinking about water takes the form that it's in, you put it in a cup, it's a cup, you put it in a bottle, it's a bottle, and that water can be forceful and that water can be peaceful. And I was thinking, I have found myself sometimes trying to force what I think was going to happen. And that as this distance learning has happened, I have to just flow. I have to flow with what's going on. I had some grandiose ideas and got into it and realized that didn't work. Or Kirsten and I just finished quarter one of our school year and getting feedback from the students, getting assessments of where did I need to slow down? Where was I not giving enough information? Where were the kids confused? Because I'm starting quarter two on Monday in 2 days. And what can I do to make it better? And I can't just stick with what I had done before. That's not going to work. I've got to go with that flow and follow whatever path it gives me.
And we should clarify that for us in our district, that quarter two starting means that we're getting a whole new set of kids. Mm-hmm. So quarter one were the odd period kids. That sounds weird, but it's periods 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then quarter two is periods 2, 4, and 6. So we'll see the odd numbered kids in quarter three in January. It's a brand new set. It's a whole new reset that we're doing this weekend. Brand new school year again.
This actually has nothing to do with tech theater. The thing that inspired me so much has nothing to do with tech theater. And I'm sure that most of you, if you're listening to us, you are not just the tech theater teacher. You're the theater teacher. You are all of it. So for I think almost everybody in our district, it just happened to be this way. We're about to start teach beginning theater again. Because we taught tech theater. I felt pretty good about tech theater, but now I'm doing beginning theater. And all of the things that I have done for years are not going to work the same way. I can't just keep forcing that through. I've got to think of new ways to do it, which is why this is a wonderful weekend of lesson planning.
It is. And that, I think, is the challenge. We had a meeting with several of the theater teachers on Thursday, just kind of talking about that and the fact that we did have to rewire our brains because it's 9 weeks. It's a beginning theater class, so mostly freshmen that have never, for some of them, they still haven't set foot on campus because we're doing this weird hybrid in-person but not in-person thing. So they're there 1 day a week or not. And all of those lovely ensemble building games and the team building games that for me would take 4 to 6 weeks to get this cohesive unit. Number one, they're not going to work in this format because the kids want to have their cameras off and they don't want to interact with each other. But number two, it's a different world, but there's a barrier there with this screen. So even I had my advanced theater kids last quarter, people that like each other a lot, but I still could not get them to interact with each other in the Zoom format. So I know darn well that kids that have never met each other that may or may not want to be in beginning theater, they're not going to take those risks that we coax them into and get them comfortable without them really knowing that that's the magic that we do when we see them every single day in class in person. So it was a talk of, well, what then is this Theater 1 class?
So when we were talking about what are we going to teach, we were not pulling the things from our back pockets like we've had for years. My epiphany over the summer was that it is a Theater 1 class. It does not say a beginning acting class. It says Theater 1, and that theater is a much larger subject than just acting. So yes, of course, I can do some of the things I'm more comfortable with tech. We can talk about costuming. We can talk about dramaturgy. We can talk about sets and stuff like that. But for me, I'm going to focus on storytelling. What is the story? That is what theater is. Since the dawn of time, it's storytelling. How can I tell my story most effectively? Sure, which will bring in all of those other things. How does, if I wanted to go back with tech, how is lighting? How does set? How does costume? How does all that help tell the story? But we're storytellers, and that's what I'm focusing on. And plus, that works well with the Zoom and with monologues. And there are a lot of speech competitions on YouTube where it's someone storytelling, or they're even doing duo acting.
We should also add that as we change the curriculum within our programs, we're kind of working together as all of the theater teachers in our district. But we were the ones that created the scope and sequence, so we can there's wiggle room for us. We don't have a prescribed set of curriculum that we have to cover, so we have a lot of grace to be able to switch things around. And we are definitely taking advantage of that grace this year.
And if you are a subscriber on our webpage, in the file share, as we are doing our lessons, we keep changing things, adding different links, adding different things. So keep checking back, because as we do them, we keep changing them to find out what worked, what didn't work. Because it was all working fantastically in my brain before the children actually were there. But as you get involved with the kids of like, well, I needed more time with that. This wasn't a good link. This was a better way to go.
So this is October 10th, and yesterday it was announced that Broadway would remain closed through up until summer of next year. And so for me, it was like, okay, well, that's then, no in-person show for me. And I know now after this quarter that the production, this devised theater piece, that it's not going to do what I want it to do. So it was like, okay, so we had just done one of these videos saying, if you don't want to do a show, don't do a show. And now I have to adjust my path, because I know now that I can't do what I was doing, because that the kids are not in a space where they are willing to kind of delve and devise and do all of that. So now I have to switch, and my Q3 plan will be to do a scripted Zoom piece of some sort. So what does that look like? I have no idea, because this was my yesterday epiphany. But it's that going with the flow. And the stage manager part of me really hates that, because I had a plan, and it was, it was on my clipboard. It was in my book. But yeah, exactly. And I did, but that's actually ironic, because in my perfect world, everything I plan goes according to plan perfectly. And then of course I became a teacher, and I'm also a parent. So none of it really ever happens. And then I do theater, and yeah. So there's no perfect world except for just in my head. So I have had to adjust anyway. But so it was really perfect and kind of kismet-y that Julie called this morning and said, let's do this, because I just heard this awesome quote and I want to talk about it.
I was inspired. I was inspired when I had my Jamba Juice in the car. It was fantastic.
Fabulous. So we just encourage you to remember to just go with the flow, because we've said it before, we'll say it again. Nothing is what it was. We're all figuring it out together. And I think for all of us, just to ignore that internal battering ram that is going to make this thing work, and just learn to fill the space or go around. Be like the water.
Be like the water. And it might mean being slower than you used to go. Ooh, I made a rhyme.
So we just keep on keeping on, and we'll figure it out as we get through it. So we just encourage you to reach out to us if you would like. You can certainly email us at teachtechtheater@gmail.com. Please check out our website if you haven't done that. Become a member, teachtechtheater.org. And we look forward to chatting with you guys soon. Okay, thanks.